Hello everybody, I'm Dan Nance again. This is the second segment of my life as a harness trainer, as a Chicago harness trainer. In this segment I'm going to talk about tampering with the driver's board by the racing office. Now most of you horsemen, trainers and owners out there know what I'm talking about when I say tampering with the driver's board. But some of you people that are just fans of racing might not know what I mean, so I'll explain it to you here real quick. When trainers make entries on their horse for a race, the races that are going to be drawn several days out, they list the driver on their horses. And after the races are drawn for that card, an overnight sheet comes out, which is a piece of paper that lists all the races, post positions drawn, and the drivers driving the horses, and what race each race is on. Now, a lot of the catch drivers in demand, they may be listed on more than one horse. They may be listed on 2, 3, sometimes 4 horses in one race. So what the racing office has to do, the racing secretary and all the people that work under him, of course in Chicago, Doc Narotsky is the racing secretary, been the racing secretary for decades, and he has people working under him. I think now he has Tim Storm over there. I'm pretty sure. He had other people, of course, back in the 80s, 90s, and that. But anyway, it's their job, the racing office, to call all the drivers that are doubled up on horses and find out who they want to drive. Because when drivers are doubled up, they get a choice on who they want to drive. So it's the job of the racing office to get all these drivers in order for all the races. Because the program has to go to print and they need to get that done. Now, back in the 1980s, we really didn't have this problem. Trainers listed their horses, their drivers, I should say, on their horses, and if the driver they listed was only down on one horse in that race, that's who that driver drove. He didn't jump around, or he couldn't jump around. He had to drive that horse. If he's only listed on one, that's who he's driving. Now, if he's listed on more than one, he can choose who he wants to drive. That's how it was done, and they abided by those rules. But for some reason, the rules seemed to change later on in the late 90s and up until now, I think, even. So they mess around. They tamper with the driver's board in the racing office, and they mess trainers around, and they mess owners around. And it's done on purpose a lot of times. A lot of times it's done on purpose. If they don't like you, got something against you, they'll mess you around any way they can. Told you guys that many times, and it's going to always be that way. In Chicago, anyway. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a little story. I mean, it happened to me a few times, but the story I'm going to tell you is it's the most interesting and a little bit of humor with it. 1998, the last year I trained. I was racing about 6, 7 head, owned them all with my brother. We went on a claiming jag that year. He was living in Vegas at the time. He had moved out there a year before 98. We came in some money in early 98. And we decided we're going to claim some nice horses and get rolling. Claim some nice horses. And I'm doing all the training back at Boog's Farm. And we started making claims starting in February of 98. I was out in Vegas with my wife for a weekend in February. They were racing at Hawthorne at the time. I used to go down to the race book all the time and watch the races at night. Never missed one. So I'm down in the race book at Caesars one night. We were out there for a weekend. And Clark Gable was racing. Homer Hochstetler was training at the time. He had him in for 8th. Clark Gable was brought to Chicago by Ken Holliday as a young horse. Nice horse, too. Really good-looking black horse. Perfect legs, sound, nice horse. And but for some reason, Homer had him in for 8. He was in way higher classes than that at one time. But anyway, I'm watching the race. You know how they have those slow-mos after the race is over, where they're waiting for photos and the cameras. They show you the slow-mo, the 2 horses coming to the wire. They got it slow and they zoom in on them and then they freeze it right at the wire. Well, I'm watching this, and I pick up, I see Clark Gable, his nose is fluttering. His nostrils are fluttering. That only means one thing. He's got a false nostril. Racehorses have what they call false nostrils in there. It prohibits them from getting all the air they need down into their lungs to breathe good, to race better. So I pick up on this. So I say to my brother the next day, I go, I'm going to go back to Chicago and claim that Clark Gable from Homer. He's in for 8, nice horse. I know he's clean-legged, everything. Want to partner up on me on that one? 4 each. He goes, yeah, sure. So I go back to Chicago, the following week. Homer puts him back in for 8. I claim him. I claim him for 8, take him back to the farm. Next morning, I look him over myself before I call the vet out. I see he's sore in his feet. His feet are sore. Coffin joints. His back end is sore. His stifles need work. His back end needs work. That's about it. He had a little check ligament that needs some attention up front, left front leg. But the false nostrils. So I call my vet out, Doc Wilson. He was my vet at the time. He'd come out to the farm, he did my work back there in '98 over at Books. I bring him out and I said, hey Doc, claimed this horse last night. I looked him over. He's got the sore feet. We need to put some acid in those coffin joints. We need to inject his back end, up over his back, his ass. He's sore. Got a little check ligament. Need to inject that. And then we need to put some nose rings in his nose. He's got a false nostril. Look him over. So he looks him over. Damn, Dan, you're right on target there. His feet are sore. Yeah. Back end sore. Yeah, that check ligament's got a little soreness there. And yeah, he's got a false nostrils. All right, Doc, let's get the work done on him. So now with a false nostril, like I told you, they can't get their air. What happens is you put nose rings. They're metal nose rings, like a keychain. Looks like almost like a keychain ring. And you puncture the false nostrils in their nose, like you do ears when you pierce your ears. And you put these rings in there. And they're always hanging out when they're not racing. They're hanging inside their nose there. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them whatsoever. Then when they race, you pull the rings out, and you're pulling the false nostrils with it, and then you tie them up here, and the rings are tied out with lets them get their air better, so they can breathe better, race better. Got to get air to run. So we do it. I train him at the farm. Train's big. Nice horse. I drop him in. I say, I'm going to put him in for 12. I'm not going to put him in for 10 or put him back in for 8. I'm going to put him in for 12. I don't want to lose this horse. I think he's a nice horse. I think he's going places. So I put him in for 12. What happens? He doesn't get in. Race doesn't fill something. I don't know. I think the race didn't fill. I was ticked off. Got to sit out another week. I'm ready to roll with this horse. So I enter him back in for 12 the following week. Again, he doesn't get in. Again, for some reason, Doc didn't use the race, didn't get in. I don't know what the story was, but he didn't get in. I'm ticked off now. I'm sitting there waiting to race this baby. He's not getting in. So I said, to hell with this. I'm getting in. I'm not sitting out no longer. I'm putting him in for $25,000. How do you like that? Huh? I'm going to stick him right in for 25. Okay? He's sound. He's good. He's got class. Okay? I put Morgan up. Stuck him in for 25 off the 8 claim. Put him in for 25. Put Morgan up. Alright. Race gets drawn. Sheet comes out. Overnight sheet. I'm over there at Maywood for the races. You know, they drew at night then. Sheet came out about 10 o'clock at night. I go to the racing office, got the sheet. I draw inside. I'm happy. I think I drew the rail. Rail or 2-hole. I look down. Morgan's not listed on nobody else in the race but my horse. I got Morgan too. I got Morgan. I'm happy in the lark. Right? Call Scott up. Yeah, we got the inside, 1 or 2-hole. Morgan's not down on anybody else. All right, just want to let you know. All right. What happens? The next morning, I'm at the barn working. I get a phone call in the barn there. Phone rings. It's Bob Larry. He's assistant to Doc Narodsky now. Bob Larry. Best racing secretary Chicago ever had, bar none. But he only did Hawthorne. He only worked at Hawthorne, race secretary. He was the lackey for Doc at Maywood. Didn't work at all as sportsman's, but at Maywood, he was under Doc. Took orders from Doc Narodsky. Right? So Larry's called me up, Bob Larry. Always liked Bob. Nice guy. God rest his soul. Hey, Dan. Yeah, Dan, Bob Larry here at Maywood Park. You need a driver for Clark Gable Friday night. I go, what? What do you mean I need a driver? No, I don't. I go, I got Morgan listed. He's not down on anybody else to drive except my horse. No, you need a driver. He's driving Stamper's horse. Stamper's horse? What are you talking about, Bob? Dan, listen. I don't know, Dan. I don't know. Talk to Doc about it. I'm just trying to tell you. He made a driver for your horse, so give me a driver, okay? You want to talk about it? Come in tonight and talk to Doc. I don't know what happened, but Bob, Morgan was only listed on Clark Gable. How's he driving Stamper's horse? Dan, give me a driver. Yeah, okay. Who's not in the race? Is Andy Miller in the race? No, he's not on nobody. Okay, put Andy up. All right, put Andy down. Yeah, okay, Bob. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you. I'll check on it. Bye. So now I'm ticked off. What's going on here? Well, I mean, come on. The guy's listed on Only My Horse, and somehow he winds up on Stamper's horse? What kind of games are being played here? All right, so anyway, I go to Maywood that night for the races like I do every night. I wasn't racing anything that night, but I always go to the track to, live racing. And I always usually stop into Dick Siegel's tack shop to get to the next night's program. He used to sell the next night's program in his tack shop. He closed at 7 o'clock. But I also know, because I'm in there all the time, Tony Morgan, when he shows up to drive, he always gets there before 7. And his first stop, after he parks his truck in the driver's lot, is going into Siegel's tack shop. Yeah, pick up a whip, tape, whatever. He always stops into Siegel. I know that. So I figure, I'm going to go there, I'm going to wait. I'm going to talk to Morgan. So sure enough, I'm sitting in the tack shop, little before 7. I'm talking to Dick Siegel. In comes Morgan. Hey, what's up, Tone? How's it going, buddy? What's up, Tone? Hey, listen, I want to ask you something, Tone. I got the overnight sheet here for Friday. You see this? You see what it says here? It says you're listed on Clark Gable. You're not listed on anybody else in the race. Right? You see it? He's looking at the sheet. I got a call this morning from Bob Leary at the farm. Says I need a driver for Clark Gable. You're driving Stamper's horse. Can you tell me why? How are you driving Stamper's horse when you're supposed to be driving my horse? According to the rules here in Chicago that have been here for decades, you're not listed on anybody else but my horse. You're on Stamper's horse? He's sitting there, he's looking at the sheet. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I go, you don't know. You're on Stamper's horse, you don't know nothing about it. No, I never got a call. That's what he claimed. That's what he said. Then in the next breath he goes, well, if I did have a choice, I would have drove Stamper's horse over yours because he figured, well, he's a legitimate 25 claim for Stamper's horse. I know, Tony Morgan knows horses like the back of his hand. He could tell you every horse on the grounds, their pedigree. The man is a genius, okay? The man is a genius. He knew everything. He knew I claimed the horse for 8. I stuck him in for 25. He's thinking to himself, you stuck him in for 25. I would have taken Stamper's horse if I would have had the choice. I was listed on his. I go, yeah, well, that's your business. If you wanted to take Stamper's over mine, but the fact of the matter is, Tone, you're listed on Clark Gable. You're not listed on Stamper's horse, and you're supposed to drive my horse. Am I right? Well, yeah. All right, no problem, Tone. No problem. I'll see you Friday night. Now, I'm not going to walk into the racing office and start drilling Doc. What happened here? What's going on here? Why'd you shaft me? I had Morgan. I'm not going to do that. Forget that. Forget that. I'm going to go out there and race. Yeah, the only way to get back at these guys, and who knows what really happened. I don't know whether to believe Morgan or whether to believe a Doc tampering. Maybe Stamper had a guy doubled up, and the guy took off a Stamper's horse for another horse, and Stamper needed the driver, not me. So somehow they finagled stuff around, and they put Morgan on Stamper's horse. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Tony was involved, not involved, or if it was just Doc's doing. Don't know. All I know is they tampered with the driver's board, they broke the rules, and that's it. Right? So the only way to get back at these guys is to beat them. Beat them. Friday night comes, Clark goes off 25-1. Sure, jacking in from 8 to 25, 25-1. Race like a bearcat. Bearcat in from 8 to 25. Race like a bearcat. Finished second. Got beat a half a length, 25-1. Yeah, I cashed a perfecta. I cashed a win and place bet. At those odds, sure I did. But more importantly, what a showing. And where did Stamper's horse finish with Tony Morgan? 6th, 7th. Didn't hit the board, didn't get a check. Okay. And then after the race, while the horses pull up on the side over there to get their numbers pulled by the grooms and stuff, by the number puller, and then the grooms come out and meet the horse and take the horse, and the driver jumps off the bike there. Well, I walk out with my groom, Paul Gathé. Some of you guys know out in Chicago know Big Paul Gathé. I walk out there with Paul. Talk to Andy. How was Andy? Oh yeah, it was good. I see Morgan getting off his bike. I say, hey, Tone, take Stamper's horse. You would have taken Stamper. Where'd you finish, Tone? I'm laughing, just ribbing him, laughing. He looks at me, laughing, smiling, walks away. Yeah, okay, that's what happens when you stick it to guys. Well, following week, I drop Clark in for 20. He runs off and hides Andy Miller up. He runs off and hides. Yeah, but that's what they do to you. They'll jack you around any way they can. And they do it all the time, the trainers. All the time. Not only me, they do it. They play the big games. Nothing you can do about it either, except take it and get even with them by winning, by beating them. And then that aggravates them. Aggravates them even more. Clark Gable went on to have a big year in '98. Big year. He won like 50-something thousand for us. Never raced him in anything under 20 claimers. Raced him between 20 and 30 claimers. Most of the time 20, 25s, right in there. Good looking horse. Loved him. Paul Gathé loved him. Favorite horse in the barn. To work around. Great manners. Good man. We sold Clark at the Harrisburg sale as we did Broadway Baby. At Harrisburg in November, we sold him. We figured, oh well, we got enough out of him now. Let's sell him. Take the money, move on, claim some other ones. In '99. But unfortunately, I decided to retire from training in '99. But Greg Trotto bought from Rosecroft Raceway. A lot of you guys know. Greg Trotto bought, he wanted that horse so bad, Clark Gable wanted him at the sale. He paid $22,000 for him, cash money. Cash money after the race. After the sale. Because Kim Hankins tried to pull a fast one. He knew that Trotto wanted to give us $22,000 for a horse and pull him out of the sale. So we went to Kim Hankins and asked Kim, we got a buyer for him for 22. Okay, why put him in the ring? He might not go for 22. He might go for 20, 21, 18. Okay, we got a buyer right now. Let's pull him out of the sale. You still get your commission, whatever. So Kim says, want me to check with Brown, whatever that guy's name is that runs the sale. Comes back, no, we can't pull him out. Well, they know. So now he goes into the ring, right? They start bidding on him. He gets up there, 20, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there, I don't know. So they start putting in false bids on this horse now. Because Hankins knows how bad Trotto wants this horse. So somebody's putting false bids in on the horse. They got him up to like 24, 25 grand. Okay, he sells. He sells for 24, 25. We think he sells for 24, 25. About 10 minutes later, here comes Kim Hankins. Listen, we got to throw Clark Gable back into the ring. That guy that put the bid on him, something happened. Yeah, one of those stories. They tried to get Greg Trotto to figure out, this guy will pay more money than 22. He'll get up there. Yeah. Well, Greg didn't want to pay more than 22, and I don't blame him. Okay, so we go, what? Got to put him back in the ring. No, Tim. I'm not putting him back in no ring, okay? Trotto wants to give us $22,000 cash for him. We're taking it, okay? And we're not putting him back in the ring now. So that's the deal. We're taking 22. We'll give you your commission, everything. You get it all, whatever. That's it. Yeah, okay. So Trotto buys it for 22. I go back to Chicago with $11K. Scott goes back to Vegas with $11K cash. He paid cash for him, Trotto. All right. And then I told Greg Trotto everything. I don't know why, because I'm just a nice guy, I guess. I don't know why I did, because trainers usually don't do that. They don't tell guys the keys to a horse and stuff. But Greg asked me about the horse. We had him in the sale. I figured out he's racing out east. He's not competing against me in Chicago. I'll tell him everything he wants to know. So I told him all about Clark, what I knew about him, the nose ring deal, this, that, his feet, their sword. Other than that, he's good. I told Greg everything. He appreciated it. He takes him back to Rosecroft, and he did real good with Clark. He did good. I used to watch him on the satellite over at Maywood, the races, simulcasting. I used to watch him race. Greg Trotto did real good with him at Rosecroft. So that was the story on that, Clark Gable. Tampering with the driver's board. And we sold, by the way, we sold Broadway Baby at the sale for 20. and we had Rabbit Attack out there, and he didn't bring enough. Just come off a 52 mile at Balmoral, but he had long hair. It was winter time. I don't know, something they just didn't like something about Rabbit. I put a new lifetime mark on him that year in 52 and 1 or something, 52 and 2. Nice horse, Rabbit Attack. But they only bid him up to like 17 or 18. And I cleaned him for 18. I cleaned him for 8, then I cleaned him back for 18 about a week later. That's another story I'll get to in a different video with Carl Purcell. You'll love this one. But anyway, we brought him back home, and then I raced him from November into December. Then he gets claimed for, put him in for 17.5 claimer right before Christmas, and he got claimed by John Peacock. John Peacock claimed him from me. And then Steve Weiss, before I planned on going on a 2-month vacation to Vegas in '99, told my wife, let's go to Vegas for 2 months, get out of here with this winter, enough of that. But we sold all the horses, Rabbit got claimed, we only got Flip Flop and Fly and Infinite. Let's go to Vegas January and February, we'll come back in March, and we'll start claiming again. So that was what we were going to do. And Steve Weiss comes up to me and he says, hey, what about Rabbit Attack? I want to claim him. I got an owner who wants to claim him. I go, yeah, so what do you want to know about him, Steve? Yeah, because I knew Steve real well, liked Steve a lot. Yeah, it's this, that, the other thing. So Weiss claims him after Peacock claim. He claims him from Peacock. Now Weiss has him a little bit, and Osteen claims him from Weiss. Now Osteen's got him all of 1999. And Osteen wound up winning with him in 52 and a piece. He didn't beat my mark that I put on him. He tied it. Osteen, you know, the great Osteen, the great trainer Osteen, he just tied it with Rabbit Attack. Did real good, made a lot of money with Rabbit. Good for him. But he only tied the mark that I put on him, 52 and 1. But anyway, things didn't quite turn out what I planned on in '99. We went out to Vegas for 2 months. We were enjoying ourselves out there, January and February, driving all around Summerlin here and that. It looked so nice. Didn't want to come home. Didn't want to come home. We're out there in March. You know, still out there in March, staying at one of the suites out there, budget suites or whatever it was, on a weekly rate. We didn't want to come back. Family's calling me, when you guys coming home already? When you coming? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it when I'm coming home. I'll come home when we're ready. Well, now we're into April 3rd. I had Ledford. I left Flip Flop and Fly with Ledford to train. I said, train him for me. I'm going to be gone a few months. Will you do that? He goes, yeah, I'll do it. So he had him. I told him all about the horse. Told him he's got a slight case of EPM, you know, and all that. So we're out here in Vegas. And he finally got him going. Finally got him qualified. I called Ledford up. We're out here, and I said, hey, what's going on with Flip? He goes, yeah, he's in. Bet all you want. What? Yeah, bet all you want. I just qualified last week. Bet all you want. So I tell my wife, Ledford says, bet all I want. So we go over to the Desert Inn for the race. Rucker's got a horse in there. He goes off, I think, favorite. Flip, Flip, I don't know, he was a good price. 6 to 1, 5 to 1, 7 to 1, something in there. It was just Rucker and Flip. So I pound on the exact, the tries. Bet Flip to win. Ledford says, bet all you want. Come on. I don't know what he's doing with the horse, other than what I told him. He's got EPM. Treat him for EPM, and this problem, that problem, and that's it. He calls me up before he qualified. He goes, oh, I forgot you told me about that EPM. I'm going to have him treat him with some Baycocks. Oh, okay. Treat him like I told you to do. Right? He treated him with the Baycocks, qualifies him. Bet all you want first start. Yeah. Win for fun. Beat Rucker. Got it all. We don't want to come home. We don't want to come home. Yet, I'm planning on coming home, claim some horses, come back in April, claim some horses. Anyway, we're into April now, first part of April. I get a phone call from my daughter. My mother's got a heart attack. She's in the hospital. Yeah. She's in the hospital in Downers Grove. Needs quadruple bypass surgery. Oh my God. Flips in that night at Balmoral. I get the call that night. You got to get back here. Grandma Sally's going into surgery Monday morning. I got to get back. Okay, we're on our way. Jump in the van, I had a conversion van, jumped in the van, packed my wife, I said, pack all this shit up, do me a favor, I'm going to go over there to Orleans, watch Flip race, pack all this stuff up, just the bags and stuff, get it in the van, I'll have it ready by the door, and then when I get back with the van, I'll throw it all in, we'll get the hell out of here. So I go over there, watch Flip race. He runs off again. He beats Move It. Joel Smith had him at the time. Move It. He beats Move It. Comes flying down the lane. Like next to last, top of the stretch. Come flying, wins at a nice price. Beats Move It. I cash again, get all the purse money. Call Ledford up from the hotel room before we hit the road. Yeah, nice job, Eric. I call right in the driver's room. Yeah, Eric, nice job. Real good race. Yeah, nice job. I'm coming back to Chicago. Mother had a heart attack. I'll be back. Talk to you later. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Dan. Bye. Yeah. So anyway, get back to Chicago. My mother has quadruple bypass. She pulls through. Takes her a couple months to recover. We stay with her. My wife and I decide, had enough of it. Had enough of this Chicago scene. Had enough of the strikes and the nonsense, the purses. It's so beautiful in Vegas. Let's get out of here. We'll stay in the business as an owner. Got a nice little chunk of money in the purse account. Let's get out of here. I'll just stay in the business as an owner now. Hang up the colors. Let's move to Vegas. So I tell my mother, Ma, we're going to stay with you 2 months. April, May. We're leaving. June 4th. You got to move with us. Scott's already out there. We're moving. You're not going to have nobody here, Mom. Sorry. You need to move to Vegas. Anyway, it's going to be the best for you. The weather. Get out of this Chicago. Put the house up for sale. Get out there. Yeah, she was reluctant. She's a Chicago person. She didn't want to leave, but she knew, I got to go. I got to go. So, we left June 4th, and that was it. Hung the colors up, stayed in as an owner. There's a lot more stories to come after that with the Ledfords. We'll get to some of those stories later on these telecasts. On these videos, I should say. And my mother sold her house in like 2 days. Put it up on the market, had a contract on it in 2 days there in Woodridge. Came out here, bought a beautiful house out here in Summerlin. And that was it. That was the end of that. But anyway, that's a nice long story here. I hope you guys enjoyed some of my trials and tribulations as a Chicago harness racing trainer, and I got a lot more stories to tell. Hell with writing a book. I don't need to write a book. I do these videos. It's much more entertaining than writing a book. Much more honest, right to the point. Don't need nobody fabricating, no authors fabricating stuff, garbage. I tell it to you like it is. Tell you the truth. Nothing to hide whatsoever. Tell you the truth about everything. My life as a Chicago harness trainer. So that's it. This has been segment number 2. I look forward to seeing everyone in segment number 3. Good day.